ministries at the Father's House Church. It was sometime before they became an item. Katie was not sure when she remembers seeing Garrett for the first time, but Garrett vividly recalls one afternoon hanging projectors on the ceiling with Luke, the youth pastor. He heard a voice below ask if help was needed. As a chivalrous gentleman, Garrett said, "No." But notice the woman whose voice was attached to it. Garrett was immediately attracted. Katie recalls her first impression of Garrett as kind of dorky. For Garrett and Katie, things progressed slowly. Their early thoughts of one another progressed and began to hang out with other leaders at work after ministry time. Garrett remembers Katie always had interesting things to contribute to conversations. Katie clearly saw that Garrett's Geek Squad persona was only skin deep. She saw through his actions and words that he had a passion. And according to Katie, this really put Garrett on the map. Garrett too saw that this young woman was more than a pretty face and had an edgy, arty side to her. And he liked it. Many months had passed before anything officially came to happen, even though Anne-Marie, one of Katie's bridesmaids, met Garrett and became proactive in making Katie and Garrett a thing. At first, Katie didn't want to have anything to do romantically with Garrett until one night when they both enjoyed a movie. Katie vividly remembers that Garrett, as many old-fashioned men do, had begun to grease the wheels, stretched out his arm closest to Katie, and wrapped it around her. And Katie's mind began to explode with all the ideas that enter into a woman's brain when a man puts the moves on her. She thought, "Oh goodness, we aren't even dating. That's giving me the sign." When Garrett recalls this day, he remembers he had a formal date and went to a movie. It was nice. But the following day, Garrett and Katie sat down to talk about what transpired the night before. They agreed to take it slow, and a month later, Garrett set up a moment he will never forget. Garrett escorted Katie to Genesee Valley Park in Rochester. They went on a stroll and found some items in a specific location. At first, Katie assumed it was left by kids, but as she got closer, she saw that someone had placed a blanket and set up wood for a small fire. Garrett brought Katie directly there, to the place he set up hours before, and asked Katie to light the fire with him, to symbolize the spark of their relationship. Katie recalls it was 3 months after this, igniting the fire, that Garrett could be the one. Things were going really well between them. Garrett was unsure of the exact date, but he knows that Katie was the one for him when he began to see her as his best friend. They did many things together, as romantic, carefree young adults do. When anyone else does, they visited abandoned buildings and went treasure hunting. Treasure hunting became one of their favorite things to do. You see, to understand this part of the story, you need to understand an activity that Garrett and Katie have become involved in. It's called geocaching. Geocaching is a worldwide game of hiding and seeking treasure. People hide items, whatever they want, in different locations and then pinpoint the location with GPS technology. Very Geek Squad-like. Then they share the location online for others to find the concealed treasure. Well, on the anniversary of their walk in the Genesee Valley Park, Gary took Katie on a geocaching adventure. It seemed very amusing to Katie that the location that he led her exactly to where they both visited only a year ago. What Katie didn't know was that Garrett had arrived earlier, hours before, with a log he had hollowed out with a good friend Wayne, and placed a small film canister in it with a cover. Garrett nervously placed the log in a very natural location and looked left and right and left again to make sure no one saw what he did. Because in that park, in that forest, in that log, in that canister, was a ring. When Katie arrived to the GPS location, she had no clue Garrett had gone to such carpentry lengths and couldn't find her treasure. Katie finally turned over a log and saw the compartment. Garrett moved in and pulled away the canister. Katie thought that this was the coolest thing her boyfriend could do to her on her anniversary and began to laugh. When Garrett opened the canister and revealed the treasure, Katie's giggles turned to tears. A question was asked and an offer was accepted. They went to dinner and then later that night ran in front of a crowd of youth leaders who were finishing their meeting. And hand in hand, with grins spread wide, they stood. Nothing was said, but everyone knew what had happened earlier that day. So we fast forward past 4 months of planning to this evening to witness Garrett and Katie's fire for life, and now marriage to come together. I've asked Garrett and Katie individually for this story, and I've compilated everything that has gone on. And now I'll read to you the words they share to each other that they want to express this night. Katie says, and I quote, "I would never have predicted this. I completely credit God and thank Him for bringing us together. You are more than I can ever imagine. Garrett, I truly respect you in everything you do and all that you are. I know you are committed to doing the right thing, even if it's uncomfortable and unpopular. I love how you have so much passion in your life. Passion for being an excellent engineer, passion for loving your friends and family, passion for being committed to loving me, and most important, passion for being a loving servant of God. We make an amazing team and I truly love you. It's so scary that through marriage we are changing the rest of our lives together, but I'm so excited that I get to do it with you. I can't imagine doing life without you. Garrett, you are my sexy, dreamy hero. Love you." End quote. This is how Garrett ends his love story. I quote, "Katie Bunny, I love you so much. No single word can describe all the intricate details that make you the most incredible woman I have ever met. Details like how you glow with joy when we're together, or how you're the most genuine, honest woman I know, who speaks her mind without a single filter. Details like your solid faith in God and your constant desire to explore all the hidden truths in what we believe. Even small details like how you shake me uncontrollably with excitement simply because you love me. Yes, Katie, do not apply this form of affection to our future newborn children. Or even secret details, like how when your glasses are perfectly reflect your character, but when you're alone you take your glasses off and all of a sudden your gentle beauty shines forth from the most engaging eyes in the world.
Oh my word.
I've always prayed for a woman that can keep up with me in my risk-taking, adventurous, driven ways. But instead, I've been given a woman who can not only keep up, but leads the way into a spontaneous unknown. I really do admire you, Katie, and I'm always inspired by your ability to make every date an adventure. I have only one regret to admit today, and it's that I can't help but wish I had known you since we were children. I keep thinking that we would have been inseparable best friends. But the regret quickly fades as I begin to realize you are my best friend, and I get to spend the rest of my life with you. And I bet the married folk here would agree with me when I say the adventure has just begun. Well, I feel like I've learned enough details to know that you who are, and I want to spend the rest of my life with. I know that I've only scratched the surface, and I can't wait for the rest of our lives as I unveil every last detail. I love you, Katie." End quote. And now for the first dance of the night, I have Mr. and Mrs. Garrett and Katie Arjuna.